My name is Schafer, and today I'm going to talk to you about my spots on the barrels. I have very specific spots that I ride to. They vary a little bit depending on the horse, but they're pretty specific and fairly similar for every horse. I think it's really important for us as a rider and for our horses to be really sure about where they're supposed to be going. So I'm just going to walk through that a little bit and talk to you guys about it. So I always like to start out fairly lined up, fairly centered between the first and second barrel, so kind of headed like straight with the third. If it's a really big pattern, I might be a little to the inside of the third. If it's a really small pattern, I might be a little to the outside, just so that my line to the first is fairly similar all the time. So I go in a fairly straight line from right here to a spot probably about 10 feet off. I've never actually measured it, but I think it's about 10 feet off of the first barrel. So fairly straight line to right, easy, about here. So like I said, I might be a little further than 10 feet. I might be more like 12 feet off of the first barrel. And her front feet are fairly in line with the first barrel. That's the first spot that I'm looking to. The next spot is gonna be just past the third barrel, or the first barrel. So I want her flank kind of in line with the barrel and her front feet to be past it, because it's extremely important that the shoulder is cleared in order for them to keep their hind end engaged, okay? If I let my horse turn back here, she's gonna have to kick her hip around to get around that barrel. I feel like this is where she gets all of her drive, especially for my style. I want my horses four-wheel drive and keeping that hind end engaged. So it's extremely important that I have them clear the shoulder. I think it keeps them really strong around their barrel, and it makes it really nice when they leave their turn, they have all that drive from behind. So my next spot is right here. Again, my horse's flank is in line with the barrel, so her front feet are just past it this direction. So again, the shoulder's cleared, so she can very easily go from right here to right here without disengaging her hind quarter, which is what's very important for me. So after I leave the first barrel, when I get to about where my path crossed coming into it, when I'm doing my slow work, a lot of times I'll just go ahead and step them over right here, because I don't necessarily want them to overturn the first, because I think that'll cause them to kick their hip out. But when they get out of it a little ways, I want them to move their whole body over. A lot of times it helps them with that lead change right there. It also just makes them move off of this leg. So when I leave that barrel, I can do this and lay this left leg on my horse and pick up right here and move her over. Even if it's in my run, if it's a little further over, she learns this cue, and that this means step this direction. Okay, so I do that right outside of my first barrel. And then going across to the second barrel, I want to go in another straight line to right here. So I'm about 4 feet off of the barrel, and her hip or flank, I guess, is in line with that barrel again. So her front feet are past it, that shoulder's cleared. Okay, so my next spot here, there's gonna be like I wanna stay about the same distance from the barrel all the way around it, so about 4 feet, okay? So this spot, and then this is just kind of like a nice little round area, I guess. It's not necessarily a spot. And then my next spot's right here. So her hip and flank area is in line with this barrel and the third barrel, and her shoulder is cleared, so she can very easily bring her front end across right here and square up, and then she has that nice strong drive out of her second barrel too. So like I said, about the same distance all the way around it, and when she gets to right there, I want her to get square, and then she can leave strong. I think we can gain so much time on the clock if our horse has its hind end engaged when it goes to leave its turn, because it can make that big, it's like a runner on blocks. It can make that big, powerful move out of its turn. So to the third barrel, again, a straight line to about right here. So about 4 feet off the barrel with her front feet just past it, so the shoulder's cleared. I have the barrel about in line with her flank right here, flank or hip, shoulder's cleared. The next spot is right here, just like it was on the first. So on my hip and flank area is in line with the barrel. Her shoulder's cleared. It's going to be very easy for her to square up and leave strong again. Okay. Another thing that I think is important, and this is something that Joy Wargo and I had discussed once that I thought made a lot of sense. She kind of pointed it out to me, and it made a lot of sense to me, so I've really started doing it since then. You see so many people come out and just go right here and leave their turn. Again, like I said on the first, if I overturn that first, my horse is probably going to step its hip around. So instead of going that direction necessarily, I'll come out of the turn and then move her over completely. Okay, I do like to change my position. I don't necessarily like to just go from the third barrel home, because I feel like a lot of times they'll get in a hurry on the back side of the third barrel and kind of float out of it if you do that. So I've started, after they come out of it square, I'll just ask them to step across completely and then come over this way. And I may go on this side of the barrel or whatever, but instead of just overturning that third barrel and making them go this way, I make them come out of it and move everything over so that they're thinking about keeping that hind quarter engaged. So I'll lope back through so that you guys can see what it looks like nice and smooth. So right here, shoulders cleared here. And I can make her keep loping around this just nice and smooth with four-wheel drive. Same thing here, straight line, shoulders cleared. Stay the same distance all the way around it. She's just keeping everything engaged, and then she can square up right here, lope in a straight line to the third barrel, lope up here until the shoulder's cleared. And then when the shoulder's cleared here, she can square up, leave that turn, and then I'll ask her to just step off of this leg and move over.